What's up, guys? Sub-Zeric here, back for another VOD review. Today, gonna do another IronBog VOD review. If this is your first time seeing IronBog, he is a rank 1. Taiwan is, I would say, maybe the most exciting up-and-coming player in APAC right now. You can see this graph, which, I mean, this top 4 streak is crazy. And then it's so funny when you're this high elo, where he's, he gets to 2100 LP, takes 2 bot 4s, and he's down over 100 LP. Like, it's just, and you can see that if you look at his stats, 3.0 AVP, a disgusting amount of firsts in there. Not, almost half of his last 20 are firsts, but he's actually kind of like treading water LP because it's really hard to climb when you are at rank 1. But we can still watch him play, and I don't really care if he doesn't get LP for a first. Honestly, it's better for me because he has more cool firsts and cool games. Honestly, I was thinking about VOD reviewing the game that he played before this one, which was a really fun Final Reserves Cypher game, and I was like, I mean, that game was like cinema. But then I was taking a peek at this VOD, and this VOD looked really, really interesting. I mean, we'll see how this game goes, but I think this was just a game of TFT that I think a lot of people don't play this style anymore, that IronBog played this game, and I think it's so exciting to watch. So start off here with Kog'Maw pair plus Skarner pair plus some Vanguards. No rapid fire yet for us, but we can still kind of chill on this. I am a big fan of this Kog'Maw unit these days. I have been playing a decent amount of Kog'Maw reroll in my own games, and just in general, I think solid item holder, solid everything. Only downside to that Kog'Maw plan is that our items don't really agree with us. We're much more likely to make like an Archangels or a Morello here than, to, I don't know, make a old Redemption, which is now new Spirit Visage. Spirit Visage, just one of, I would say one of the losers of the item rework. Just like I kind of talked about when I did my item rundown, kind of weaker than Redemption was, so you're not hyped to build Spirit Visage anymore. In any case, don't think we're going to take the Nitro augment here with no Nitros. I mean, I don't really like Pilfer that much either. This one that gives you the 2-star 2 cost is pretty cool. I mean, if it were me, I would probably just grab this and play Rapid Fire and play like Kog'Maw reroll. Well, you probably can't even do it with this. I love Kog'Maw reroll, but you probably can't. I think an unreasonable, not an unreasonable, but a reasonable take from this spot would just be Board of Directors here. And, you have decent components to play into Vexotech, but he's not interested in that either. So we end up just taking Last Augment here, the one that gives you a bunch of 2-stars here. We do get a Morgana, a Jhin here. I think this makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I was about to say, I like fitting the Graves in here a lot, and the only slam that really makes sense if we're gonna play this board is Morello. Yeah, I mean, Graves after the buff I do actually think is like a pretty solid option these days, so I like the pickup. The only downside is this does mean that we don't get Dynamo in, which is so important for Morg, so we might see him actually cut the Graves back literally like this round, but maybe not. Maybe he's gonna chill onto it for a little while, but at least we have the Morg too. We have the 2-star on the Mundo, and yeah, the Graves can just kind of chill on this board. I wish we could item hold this Graves, because honestly, he's a fantastic item holder these days. There are even those out there who are, there's whispers of a Graves reroll comp, though. The player on NA who is playing it doesn't want to give away all of the Graves reroll secrets. Maybe after the next like cup or something, that player will do a Graves kind of like rundown or something once I think they're trying to hide the tech for themselves. So if anybody out there, I mean, look, I will accept some Graves reroll of odds. I think Kai was talking to this player who I will not name them, for the innocence of the individual, but they are, I think Kai was talking about doing a video with them, which as usual, but this Kai guy, well, whatever, in any case. All right, so we're clearing out the rest of this stage here. Could actually, yes, sell the Jhin pair to make gold here. I think it makes a lot of sense. Jhin 1, Jhin 2, I mean, Jhin 2 is great and all, but I don't think it's going to make that big of an impact on our board. We're not going to move our items over to Jhin 2, so I think we could just chill on this for now. And we're, I would say, very open at this spot. There is an Elise that we can pick up here, who not only is this an Elise which is going to be Dynamo onto our board, she's also a fantastic early game unit, and it also gives us maybe even a little bit of direction towards, like, we could play an Elise game. We don't have the most crazy items of all time for it. Ooh, little check of our Street Demon hexes there. Why not? Why not get a little check on it? It's honestly one of the worst hexes. I really hate these hexes that force you to clump on, either the left or the right, because it just means, hey, you're fighting a Sejuani player. they're just going to put it on top of your board. And what are you to do? You can either sack your Street Demon Hexes, or you can just get Sejuani'd your entire board. So both options not amazing. But we pick up this fight, and we're on our way to gaining a 4 streak here, which would be pretty decent here. We hover the Varus there for a second, actually, and yeah, he's looking at it. I didn't recall us actually scouting Exotech here. Maybe IronBog did it just really quickly and I didn't notice it one time, maybe when I was yapping earlier. But I would actually like to know what our Exotech is here, just because, I mean, we have pretty good items for it. You know, if we get drop tier plus glove, blue buff, guard breaker, like boom, our items for it are fantastic. And I mean, I'm just gonna assume that we do have a reasonable AP Vexotech item here because of the fact that we're holding on to Varus here, but we'll see. All right. We're kind of just chilling still on this board here. Gonna hold on to the Varus pair here, just in case. I mean, maybe if we hit a Varus 2, we can item hold it. Honestly, I mean, Morgana 2 is light years ahead of Varus as an item holder, so definitely think we're gonna still chill on that. And we're holding the bit on these Graves, keeping the dream open of potentially going for a Graves 3, which is a little crazy to me from this spot, especially with, you know, blue buff Morello made here. But I mean, that's the other nice thing about holding Varus is I guess he's Executioner for Graves. And also, ooh, look at this. I think the itemization here, it makes a lot of sense, and it's a little unintuitive. I think a lot of people would be like, well, Warmogs is a great slam, you always make this. But new Sterax is so strong here, we're actually going to go for the double Sterax slam. And so this is why I wanted to VOD review this game, because when I'm looking at this spot does not play into any of the, I would say, kind of like traditional boards, like the meta boards. If you went on TFT Academy and tried to figure out what comp we were playing from this spot, I couldn't give you a good answer because we have Sterax, blue buff Morellos made at this point. Next augment here, I mean, I don't think it's Final Ascension. I don't love Vampiric Vitality, but Not Today is actually a decent pair for it. Wow, he actually might roll that. Wow. I mean, I hate Final Ascension. Maybe I'm too much of a Final Ascension hater because he then rolls it. I don't think it's going to be that. I mean, Dynamo +1, giving the ability to play, but I don't know. I don't love a circlet in general. I mean, is this ever takeable? I don't think. I mean, you get Collector probably for like maybe a Misfortune later, but still, like, this is where, like, I don't know what augment to take here because I don't know what we're playing here. Gold Collector makes the most sense as the pickup here. We pick up Zed as well here, who's a Slayer onto this board, which is pretty chill. And so we can I mean, Zed is also just, as far as early game units go, fantastic. And it looks like we're thinking about just moving items completely over to Zed. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I think this makes perfect sense. And so here is our spot. Sterax, Collector, Zed, blue buff Morello on the Morgana. We have the Healing Orbs, which kind of, you know, it plays a little bit into this. I mean, you can see this Healing Orbs made the Zed go absolutely infinite in this fight with the double Sterax, and the Sterax are just giving Zed a bunch of AD to work with, a little bit of shield so that he can, you know, survive longer into the fight and maybe, you know, drop down low, get a shield, then Healing Orbs heal back up. Like, it makes sense. We do definitely have to play for Streak this game because Healing Orbs is one of those augments that the further you get into the game, the less relevant it is. They're bigger health bars at that point, and so, like, yeah, just getting, you know, the flat amount of HP that Healing Orbs gives you later in the game is not as important. But oh my god, I think both of these fights were a giga Healing Orbs diff. Like, this fight certainly looked like we were losing, then Healing Orbs procced. I mean, so sick here. But yeah, that's the other thing I think is so weird is just like, what are we playing here? Dynamo with a random Zed onto our board? It's such a weird spot, I'll say. I was looking at tier here. Okay, he does take tier here, just because I would like to finish off, you know, a last, potentially even just a second damage item onto, you know, Morgana, who is eventually going to be, you know, somebody else, either Elise or Aurora, or you probably can't pivot this into some kind of AMP game, even though you have the blue buff, the Sterax plus the Gold Collector don't make that much sense to me. I mean, it almost makes sense. I'd love for us to team planner here because then I can actually talk about what we want to play here. Okay, and he is going to team planner out this the 4 Dynamo board, this kind of like very standard Misfortune board. I think this makes a lot of sense, even just from the perspective of we can throw Sterax onto Braum and just have that be a solid tank item. I think this actually makes a lot of sense. And then obviously the Gold Collector goes on to the Misfortune, and the, you know, the other stuff goes on to Elise, eventually like Aurora and stuff like that. So I think this does make the most sense, but I mean, I still don't think you'd be that excited about having the Sterax there. Also, great positioning from IronBog. I mean, we're fighting Cypher here, so it's not going to matter too much, but hey, just winning the fight faster means that they are killing less units. Getting a worse loss means they're going to play for a lower cap, so that's always good. Pick up the Gragas here, who's immediately going to be placed onto the board here, also really considering playing the Rast on this board as well. I mean, you guys have seen probably me play this board a few times, so, you know, we have a good idea of what we're going for here. All right, next amount of slams here. Yeah, I mean, he's immediately looking at the Void Staff here. I think the slam is just absolutely necessary. And then what, maybe a GS even? You can't really make red buffs. You got to get rid of one of these bows with Void Staff, and you kind of need the MR Shred from Void Staff. So I do think that is going to be the pickup here, and we'll see after that. Just pre-pumps a little bit of XP. Yeah, I do think these slams make perfect sense here. GS plus Void Staff here, and then you can hold chain for like maybe a tank item down the line. Probably not even, I mean, we'll see what the future of this Zed is. Also, my God, the Zed with the Sterak's is just a monster, man. Just teleporting to backline, one-shotting people. I mean, is this BIS Zed? Low-key. All right, last augment here. You could actually perceive of a reinforcement take here, try to pick up either an MF2, ideally an MF2, use that to stabilize you and then push 9 here. I don't think it's lethal rerouting, so I think that makes a lot of sense. And he rolls a few times here and then hits cloning facility here and says, okay, I mean, cloning facility is too good to turn down in this comp here. So many good things you can dupe. So we are going to hit the Elise, and we're gonna roll a little bit here. Okay, so oh my God, an Aurora this early. I mean, I'll call that high roll. That is definitely high roll here. But still, we're kind of okay, and we hit Z2, so we're gonna continue to dupe the Aurora. So this is kind of hilarious. This is the standard Elise board, except we're playing obviously Zed on this board. We're not playing Misfortune, and we're also playing the Jarvan on this board. So yeah, we're playing Dynamo Flex here with a Z2 and Elise 2. And I mean, especially after hitting the Aurora, but even had we not hit the Aurora, I think we'd be looking like we're on the way to level 9 here. Ooh, that would be a crazy call here. I don't know if I believe it. Yeah, that I don't think you could cut the Z2 for, I mean, obviously the MF is fantastic on this board here. 4 Dynamos a really big spike, but I think cutting this Z2 seems a little bit I don't know. If IronBog had done this, I mean, I would call him a beast, because he's gotten to the point, you know, seeing games played like this that are just so cleanly and interestingly played make me, I mean, these are my favorite games of TFT to watch. This reminds me of watching like peak form Shunga before he won the world championship, just doing kind of weird stuff, but that makes a lot of sense. It just like playing this very kind of like fluid form of TFT where he's playing his strongest board at all moments. He's putting items on units. We pick up a Renekton here, which I have a sneaking suspicion that this might actually be the future here for this Sterak's Collector setup, or maybe even probably just the Sterak's, and then Collector moving down to Misfortune. But I have a sneaking suspicion that this is actually going to be our max cap, is playing for the 4 Dynamo plus Renekton board that a lot of people are actually a fan of here. Zed still just farming people up. We also slam the Crown Guard here. The idea being, we have 3 tank items, or we have 3 AD damage items and 3 AP damage items made. So why would we waste any time? Let's make a frontline item. And also, this is going to be really good onto our Koboko later. So this is the idea, a very kind of fluid pivot. I'm actually surprised. Well, I was going to say, I'm surprised that he didn't team planner in the Poppy, but look at this. He's got Poppy on bench already. He held it. If you guys haven't played this version of the board, Poppy is the glue here, and he does actually throw another one into team planner, just, you know, maybe so that we can not skip the Poppy too, I guess. But Poppy glues together this Koboko Renekton pair really, really, really nicely. So, you know, you get Bastion, you get Cyber Boss, and that allows you to play for that. And then that obviously just fits really nicely. Well, it doesn't actually fit that nicely onto a 4 Dynamo board, but it's just a very solid AP backline with a very solid AD frontline, so it works out. And that's the plan here from IronBog, a fast 9 into this Dynamo and Friends board here. So, okay, itemize here. Yeah, I don't mind taking some kind of, well, let me think. Aurora item here? Because I was going to say, like, yes, you can make Death Cap onto Aurora, but I mean, don't our Aurora items have to end up being something like Void Staff, Morello? I mean, maybe even just blue buff to get her casting. I mean, maybe he's thinking that these items, Death Cap GS, might end up on Kobuko. I still don't really know. Now, I mean, Collector can still go onto Misfortune, but I almost think we're going to get to a version of the board that's not going to need Misfortune. But okay, we're going to level up here, dig for I mean, we have so many things that we can hit here. IronBog, 66 HP, could chill a little bit longer, but kind of acknowledges I'm pretty rich here, and there's a lot of stuff I can hit here. I mean, hitting the Renekton 2 here is huge, and look at this. Boom. This is exactly what we're talking about. The items are going to move over to Renekton, and yeah, Collector, okay, is going to stay onto backline, onto the Misfortune. A little tragic because it's just an MF1, and we don't get, I mean, low-key, we have 4 movers. I kind of maybe would have preferred... Well, nah, maybe not. I was just going to say, like, you could just throw the Collector on Renekton as a 3rd item here. The downside to that is that you kind of lose the ability for MF to just randomly snipe somebody. Also, really kind of crazy call here from IronBog here. Also, he doesn't actually make the Aurora 2 in time here just because he is doing way too much with his board. I'm really shocked that we actually made Elise 2 here. I mean, he's keeping the Elise 3 dream alive, and we have 6 Elises, and he's confident in his board strength. I just feel like, I mean, Elise 3 doesn't seem to me like that much of a power spike. The upside, though, is we have fantastic Elise items, and I mean, this does give a home for these AP items, right? Before I was talking about throwing, you know, like Deathcap GS on a Koboko, which doesn't sound great. We're going to pick up QSS here, one of Renekton's best items, so I do fully expect that to just get slammed onto him as his 3rd item here. And yeah, we've made the pivot for the most part here. So this is kind of the packages that we were talking about for Dynamo here, and then you play this package here, and then very often you do fit Gragas onto this board, just because he's basically the best bruiser that you can play. Sure, you could play a Cho'Gath, but getting Divinicore, an extra stack of Divinicore on your board is really good. And then the last slot is pretty flexible here. He's playing Zac right now. Kind of mediocre, I would say, just because like we don't have enough blobs for it to be very good, but eventually we'll get to a spot where, yeah, we're stacking up some blobs here so you can feel better for that, you know, down the line. I mean, there's not much else you want to play. Like, you think, oh, I could fit Garen and play God of the Net, but like, what am I really, like, okay, I can God of the Net, Dynamo, Renekton, like, what? I can Divinicore onto Elise or something like that. Like, these are just, I don't know, pretty underwhelming to me with the traits that we have in. So I don't prefer Garen that much on this board, but yeah, we are, ooh, that was such a close fight, actually. The Galio got down to like 1 HP here, but it just goes to show, like, it was a good call from IronBog to push 9 when he did, because we still actually lost a few fights this stage, and just saving HP by being stronger this stage has put us in a spot where instead of being, you know, 10 HP, we're 27 HP. You know, even just winning 5-3 it reduces the amount of pressure on us by an insane amount. But yeah, we're going to roll down here. Getting pretty close to the Elise 3. We do pick up the 2-star on the Urgot here. Going to play... just another, why is this extra Aurora on the board? It doesn't work like that, right? I guess, am I crazy? It does, okay, I mean, I guess it works, but I've just never seen somebody actually just play double Aurora on their board. I mean, his thought is that it's just better to pull in the Zac. I mean, I mean, it makes sense. Okay, now that we have Zac 2, we're probably getting out of this, yeah. It's kind of funny. You would say, like, well, why not just keep the Aurora on your board? Oh, and he's low-key thinking about reforging this. This is kind of, oh. Oh my god. I mean, Trickster's Glass might have been the single best artifact that he could have got here. He could have put it onto Aurora for the triple Aurora, but he opted to put it on Koboko for the double Koboko. I would have just immediately thrown it to Aurora, but I think he's right here in that who cares about pulling in another completely random unit? We'd rather just have another Koboko, because like probably the best unit that you could pull in here is Koboko. And so we just make another Koboko that starts the round on our board. And then also we have the opportunity to actually hit a Koboko 2 here. I mean, this is so cool, actually. Like making that call. I mean, what a beautiful game here. We'll see. We still got to cap the board out. We got to finish strong here. 7 Elise is still here. This is where like I would really want to have, you know, the extra gold from not making these Elises and being able to roll for stuff like Koboko 2. But I mean, we're still winning fights, so you can't really say that it's wrong to go for this here. And this is actually so cool here. Grab Koboko item here. I was looking at BT. I mean, you could just take a Warmogs here with your belt that you have open. He's just gonna take the Bramble here, actually. Huh. I would have thought it would just be... I mean, I guess it's not really Koboko item. It's more Zac item in this spot here. Warmog still, I would think, is better than Bramble here, but maybe he's just looking to his future matchup and saying, the only person that I'm really... I mean, both of these matchups are actually pretty AD heavy. And yeah, going to move the Trickster's Glass, keep the Trickster's Glass, but move the Crown Guard over to Zac, because we're at this point now where Zac's actually stacked up enough. And yeah, I mean, with this guy in our pool, I mean, I think the other guy is also an AD matchup. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to just play for Bramble Zac here, especially because Zac can sometimes get to really... like it fights exactly like this, where you just have 2 Zacks alive at the end, and sometimes those Zacks just clear the board. I mean, we almost won this fight, but all right. Still one, just really looking for that Elise 3 here. I mean, the more that I think about it, the more that I like going for Elise 3, because we don't have a good home for these items if we don't go for Elise 3. We do pick up MF2. I almost like would be afraid to make that, but IronBog says, you know what, maybe just this upgrade might be enough to win a fight that we'd otherwise lose. This is a pretty scary big Zac as well, though he does have that Anima Visage, or Spirit Visage, which, like we've talked about, is like, bleh, it's an okay option. Not actually a very close fight here, so we pick up the win here. So one of these other 2 players is going to be dead. That is Stay Alive, TFT going down, ironically. And I mean, this is going to be our last fight, regardless of who wins here. We're hoping to pick up Kobuko 2 and Elise 3 to cap out this board, but we will see what ends up happening. I mean, it's anybody's game. That board is a very capped Cypher board with Draven 3 and Galio 3, so pretty scary here. Item-wise here, we just need a last Zac item. Let's roll down here. Hopefully pick up that Elise. Oh my god, he actually does get rewarded for going for it. Picks it up here. Sell this guy and roll for 2 more blobs. Yep. Looking for last Zac item here. Blah. I mean, actually, Sterax, yeah. I mean, it's honestly a solid tank item. It's a solid everything item. This can go into Kobuko for a little bit of extra HP. That is a big... Oh, this is actually... Oh, the Cypher guy is the guy who died. So we're actually rotating... I mean, honestly, I think the Cypher guy was more scary than this guy, though. Actually, this fight is really close. Oh my god. Okay, maybe I evaluated wrong, because honestly, looked like this guy. I mean, I'm surprised, but they just, I mean, if you saw how much HP was on that Zac, they just had a Giga Zac on a Vanguard Marksman board. I mean, this board, great items. I mean, this is like almost BIS. I mean, this is Aya's setup is fantastic. This Felio setup is like okay. The Leona item's good. So, I mean, their setup does look good. And what were their augments actually? Oh, yeah. I mean, okay, yeah, their augment setup is really good as well. And with the Giga Zac, I think this makes a lot of sense that this fight was close. All right. Well, in any case, just a beautiful game played from IronBog. This one got him back to over 2K LP, but I mean, he actually, here, I can just skip to the end of the stream. I'll have the link in the description down below if you want to watch this VOD, but he smurfed, and remember, this is a 2K LP on the Taiwanese server. Like, it's not like he's playing, you know, this is his like smurf account or anything. He's just hard smurfing at literal rank 1 on a very strong server. So if you guys want to learn at all, you know, go check out his VOD down below. Go give him a follow. Say Sub-Zero sent you. I don't know if he will understand. Maybe he... yeah, I don't know what his, you know, multilinguality is. I mean, a lot of people speak English. Maybe he speaks English. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks as always for watching. Bye-bye.